I hate the cold. The cold hurts. It legit hurts to move in the cold sometimes. My nose gets perpetually runny, my dick gets hard for 40 hours straight at a time. I'm just more of a summer or spring guy. I like the warmth, but not super hot. Like, I like around 75 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, but I get it. It's easier to warm up than to cool down. Ironic that I'm saying this because I honestly like hiking in the winter snow just a bit more than the summer by just a thin white snowflake. For one, there's just much less people hiking in the winter, and with the proper equipment, and I say proper equipment with a huge emphasis, hiking in the snow just seems much more fulfilling and fun. And the views with the snow, assuming you got a clear winter day, just seems much more magical and captivating. Like, it feels like I'm taking a casual stroll through a happy episode of Black Mirror that takes place in the North Pole and the Chronicles of Narnia at the same time. And also, if the lake is frozen enough, you can walk on top of it and feel like the second coming of Jesus Christ walking on water. And yeah, technically you'd be walking on water, so you can brag to your friends all about it. The worst time to hike, in my opinion, is in the spring season, surprisingly. And especially early to mid spring, which I know is pretty funny since I said I'm more of a summer or spring guy. But hiking in the spring is just more technically tricky. It is still kind of cold, but not cold as hell. Like, I'm still layered up, but there's still snow in many of the hikes during the spring. But it's very soft snow, as in you'll most likely post hole or sink at least 3 feet per step and get a bunch of snow and cold water inside your shoe. Then your feet starts to freeze up and you start to think if you're gonna get frostbitten and lose your feet. So for the spring snow, I highly recommend some snowshoes, maybe an ice axe, but I don't know how an ice axe would perform in the soft snow. I'd say it's mainly for the winter where the snow is more firm and hard. And as the snow starts melting in the spring, the trails just become more muddy. And as the mud mixes with the snow, the trails just get really ugly and rough to hike on. Like, it looks like someone took a long, constant diarrhea dump on the trail. But is it enough to stop me from getting to the top? Hell no. Unless all of a sudden there's a Sasquatch that appears out of nowhere and starts chasing me while shooting diarrhea at me out of his ass. Then, yeah, I'm running the hell out of there to hike another day. Now, I probably wouldn't backpack or camp in the winter nor spring. That's definitely more of a summer thing in my opinion, and maybe the early fall. But I guess I don't camp much in general, or at least as much as I should or want to. Don't get me wrong, I love camping, but the main reason why I don't backpack or camp is because, well, my bowel movement or metabolism is just crazy. Like, I take on average like 3 to 5 dumps a day, no lie, not even exaggerating. And I don't really eat all that much. You know, I typically eat like 3 to 4 meals a day with some snacks in between, but these meals aren't huge. I guess I do aim for around 160 to 200 grams of protein per day, and I try to eat plenty of fruit and veggies, but it's not like I'm the second coming of Kobayashi, but 5 dumps a day is damn near an hour a day on the toilet. So if I went backpacking, I'd have to dig a hole somewhere outside of the trail, squat down, take a dump, wipe my ass with some leaves or compostable toilet paper, and bury it up to 5 times per day that I'm backpacking. If I'm lucky, I just do it twice a day while backpacking. And hell, some trails make you scoop your own pile of shit, put it in a bag, and throw it in the trash at the trailhead when you leave. So there will be a chance that I'd end up carrying a backpack full of my own shit by the end of the backpacking trip. I'd be literally be carrying a sack of shit for miles. I'd literally be full of shit. Yes, I've discussed this with my doctor, and he said it's not unhealthy. As long as they come out solid, then it should be all fine. But it is very, very annoying. But sure, I know this is a shitty reason to not want to go backpacking or camping, but I guess I just want to limit the amount of time I spend going to the bathroom while I'm out in nature. This is mainly why I favor towards doing a casual day hike. I wake up in my bed, take a dump, eat breakfast, take another dump, get ready and drive to the hike and take a dump on the way, do the actual hike, snack a little bit while on the hike, but not too much. Then, once completed and I get back to the car, I most likely need to take another dump on the drive back home. And I'll make sure to eat a good dinner, whether that's a good, highly rated restaurant that I go to, or just head back home and munch on whatever proteins I got with a side of diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, Asperger's, and a juicy colostomy bag. Afterwards, I'll shower, chill out, maybe watch some Dr. Phil, jerk off, finger my butthole, and go to sleep on my own comfortable bed again. This casual day hike routine has been great for me. No complaints at all, and I'm enjoying myself. On the other hand, with backpacking, I'd most likely be eating some super processed freeze dried food most of the time, something like the MRE food pack or something. And or I could be like Bear Grylls and go hunting in the wild with, for some food with a stick that I found. And then for the bed situation, I have to set up a tent, padding, a sleeping bag, and all that stuff. And not to mention, I have to carry all these on the hike. Come to think of it, backpacking just doesn't sound all that enticing. Specifically, the bed and bathroom situation for me, which is a huge part of it. I get it. But I know I should try backpacking at least once in my life just to say I did. Who knows? I'll probably end up enjoying it a lot, despite all the bathroom trips I have to make. But I guess you just can't go wrong with being out in nature, right? Or I guess you could. Now, don't get me wrong. I have been camping before, but at an actual campground where we would just drive into an empty lot or space, and there's at least a bathroom or a shared toilet or porta potty that we all could use. Honestly, most of the campgrounds that I've been to had actual bathrooms with running water, toilets, sinks, and a couple of them even had showers. So I guess I've been spoiled for most of my camp trips. But that didn't mean I hated it. Heck no. I still had some of the best times of my life in these camp trips. And sure, you can say the magical mushrooms or the acid tabs of Lucy definitely helped me with my enjoyment. But hey, what matters is that I was out in nature with some good company, just away from the city and noisy streets. I think that's one of the most important experiences or lifestyles that people need to implement in their lives. To get away from the city life and just be out in nature. But if you're one of those people that already live out in the rural area in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by some farm or a decaying castle somewhere in Transylvania, then maybe the reverse or opposite is good for you. That maybe you should just visit the city once in a while just as a reminder to feel what it's like to be walking through the chaotic concrete jungle. And then you'll realize life ain't so bad in a real nature jungle. Or maybe it is, and then you become so impressed and convinced that you want to move into an actual city. Either way, I think a fine balance between a city and nature is definitely good to have. And I know most people will agree.